Hey everyone. Well, what a day. Having some technical difficulties. I've got contractors here at the house. I've got my littlest one is homesick from school. And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? The show has definitely got to go on. And it's so perfect because today I am actually talking about the turnaround and what it means to turn things around, when whether your business is flat or a relationship is flat or whatever it is that's going on in your life, or even like today, you're having technical challenges, and how do you just turn things around when things don't seem to be going the way you want them to be? So if you're new to this, my name is Susan Sly. On Mondays, I do a Bulletproof Monday. If you're watching on YouTube, I shouts out to you. If you're listening in the podcast, that's great too. Normally, I'm in my office and I've got the lighting and I've got everything, but it's all perfect. So I'm literally on my phone. I've got these in. You might hear my dog. You might hear nails pounding in a wall. Who knows what you're going to hear, but I'm just happy to be here with all of you. So, it's interesting because we all love a turnaround story, right? And recently Tiger Woods won the Masters, and he hasn't won the Masters for, I believe it's over 11 years. We hear about stories like Andre Agassi when he was on top of the world in tennis, and then he started losing, and then he came back again. And then Michael Jordan wins all these championships with the Chicago Bulls. Then he decides he's going to play baseball, Major League Baseball. Everyone's like, oh, who's he kidding? And then when he came back to basketball, everyone's like, he's never going to be successful. And then he won 3 more championships with the Bulls. So we hear it time and time again, whether the company is Apple or whether it's looking at Starbucks, the turnaround when Howard Schultz came back or whatever it is. So we all love a great turnaround story, right? But we don't love it when we're living it. Ooh, that's a tough one. So we love to watch other people's turnarounds, but to be in it when there's the self-doubt, the fear, the worry, the anxiety, when all of those things that are happening begin to get so frustrating. And then suddenly it's like, how do we turn things around? So I want to just share, I always on these Mondays, I take some notes, and it's just from my heart to yours to just give you some wisdom that you can take with it and do with it what you will. So the first thing that when you need to turn things around is about getting humble. So years and years ago, back in 2000, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and my doctor said, Susan, you're going to be in a wheelchair in 10 years and dead in 20, if you can only imagine. And it was absolutely incredible. And I really was devastated because at that time I was a professional athlete. I was a single mom. I was a mom. And, 3 days later, my marriage fell apart. 16 weeks later, I lost my business. And then suddenly I found myself homeless as a single mom, no business, and sick. How do you turn things around from there? And it looked pretty hopeless. I had $300 to my name. I had been locked out of my office. I couldn't even, the bank wouldn't even let me access like my photo albums, anything that was in the office to this day. They're probably in a dump somewhere. I don't know. And I went from this person who was on radio and television and, I'd go to a restaurant and people would be giving me free meals and bottles of wine to, the person that no one really wanted in their life. And it was really tough. So I got humble, and I literally got down on my knees and I prayed to God. And I said, God, if you will show me the way, I will do the work. And if your life is in need of a turnaround right now, I would say get humble. Get humble. The prayer has an amazing power to it. Get on your knees, pray for it. The turnarounds don't just happen on their own. And I find that, especially with humility does give us power, because at that point, when we surrender everything over and we're like, there's nothing left to give, I'm exhausted, I don't see a way, that when we're praying to God to give us a way where we previously didn't see a way. The second thing is take 100% responsibility. And, when I lost everything, it was very easy. And I admit I did. And, God knows I'm not perfect. I did. I blamed my then husband. I blamed, to a certain extent, I blamed the people I was working with who were working for me. But what eventually happened was I had to take 100% responsibility for it because I chose not to look at the accounting. This is again, this is 20 years ago. I was 27 at the time. I chose not to pay attention to the business side and the taxes owing and the cash flow statements. And if you've ever done any training with me in my Organize Your Life programs, getting financially responsible and knowing how to read a profit and loss, knowing how to read a cash flow statement is so important. And I didn't take responsibility. So when we lost everything and we were locked out of our health club and there was a notice on the door for $44,000 in back taxes, I didn't have that money. I eventually had to take responsibility and say, you know what? I am not going to be a victim here. I'm going to own it. I did not take responsibility in business. And to fast forward time, I have attended so many financial seminars on real estate investing, financial planning, stock market investing, options trading. I read books by accountants now. I love to learn from accountants. My accountant, Jonathan, is one of my closest friends. I love this guy. I've learned how to not just read cash flow statements, but to generate them because I never wanted that to happen again. And so that's where the 100% responsibility came in. And if you're going to turn things around, I would say to you, take 100% responsibility. So you may be in a relationship. You might be going, well, Susan, I'm in a relationship right now where it's toxic and you're telling me I need to take responsibility that this person's doing awful things to me, or it's a business relationship or whatever it's going on. No, but if you're sitting there and taking it, and you're complaining about it, then you need to take 100% responsibility to also exit yourself from that situation or to have that conversation if that's what needs to happen. The third thing when you need to do a turnaround is focus on what is going to bring you results. So and this is, I love Dave Ramsey. He talks about this all the time. If you have more debt than you have income, then go drive Uber or figure out a way. I had to focus on it. And Proverbs 22:9 says, whoever has a beautiful eye will be blessed. And one of the interpretations of that is seeing opportunity everywhere. So when I lost everything, keep in mind, I had been like driving a Mercedes. I was like, people knew who I was, to suddenly I had to get humble. So what I did is I took a job working for the largest health club chain in the world. I did walk into a management situation because I had that experience, but on the side, I trained clients. I did personal training. I did nutritional consulting. I taught aerobics if I needed to do that. I was still racing triathlon for money, even though I'd been diagnosed with MS. I did not tell my sponsors, my agent, I was sick because I needed that money to pay my rent. And, oftentimes I was working 60 hours a week and I was training, and I had, if I met, whatever quota had been handed to me by our head office in Chicago, I'd get a bonus. So I was like, I would go for the bonus. And the thing I would say to you is, if you need to turn things around financially, focus on the things that bring you revenue. What are those income producing activities? So let's say you're in a direct sales business. I'm sure that I have a little bit of experience there, that I'm sure bringing in new customers is going to bring you more revenue. I'm sure helping your existing people you're working with rank advance to a new level is going to bring you revenue. If you're in a traditional business, then go love on your sales team and don't get humble. Just say, hey, can I come with you and do a ride along? Improve your sales skills. Learn what you need to learn in order to get to that next level. And, again, going back to being humble, you might go through a season right now where you have to pick up an extra job. I was mentoring a gal. She came into my direct sales business and she's like, Susan, I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent. And she's just starting. Keep in mind, it's like the beginning of the month. She has until the end of the month to pay her rent. And I'm not going to be that person who's like, yeah, she came in and she made all that money her first month. No, I said to her, honey, you might have to get a side hustle. And she did. She ended up going to work at a water store, which was perfect because she was selling purified water and she was in a detox company until she got her footing. And eventually she went on to make a six-figure income, which was awesome. But you might have to do something additionally to get through this turnaround, this transition. And don't think of it as something that is forever. forever. It's just for a season. Sometimes during this time of turnaround, we're in a season where we're working longer hours. We, maybe having to learn new skills, whatever it is. And it's tough. I just, recently, as some of you know, I finished a certificate program at MIT. It wasn't easy. So, I have my business, my digital agency, the AI company that I, am a co-founder of. I have my kids, life, and on top of it, I had to figure out how to find 12 extra hours a week to do this certificate from MIT, and I'm contemplating doing an MBA at MIT right now. I won't start this fall; it'll just be too much. But sometimes we have these seasons where it's a bit messy because on the other side of that, we are making more money. We have a better relationship. We're healthier. For any of you who've ever done a fitness competition, that's my rescue dog, Noah. He's going insane with the contractors. Years ago, I did a fitness competition, and I'll tell you, there's a season where you're having no carbs, where you are like doing 2 cardios a day, where you're like, oh my gosh, I just want a piece of chocolate. It's like, no, you can't have chocolate. But on the other side of that, you walk that stage and you're looking good, you're cut, you're lean. It's the same thing. It's just a season. It's just a season. Like my daughter's home today. As I said, depending what time you join, my youngest one, she's 9 years old. She's such a cutie. She's at home today. We got the contractors at the house, and it's a season. I don't know what was going on with my laptop. I was trying to get on to do the Bulletproof Monday on my laptop like I usually do. It wasn't happening today. It's a season. Sometimes we got to hustle to turn things around in the season, but it's temporary. Just remember that. The next thing is about learn to the next level. So when we've got to turn things around, sometimes there's a new skill that we have to learn, or maybe there's a mindset that we have to take on. So learning to the next level means asking yourself, what is it that I need to learn in order to go to the next level? So maybe you need to learn how to bring in more clients and customers. Maybe you need to learn your social media skills. Maybe you need to learn to become a better communicator. Maybe there's something you need to learn. So I'll give you an example. Over the weekend, Udemy was having a special. Now, if you don't know what Udemy is, it's like an online learning platform, and sometimes the classes are like hundreds and hundreds of dollars, but it was $11.99 for any class you wanted to get. So it was like so cool. So I bought this course in Python coding. Now, if you don't know about coding, Python is a language that coders use, and I haven't coded since the days of DOS. But the reason I did it is not because I necessarily have to code in Python. It's because at our company, there's a tech team and they all code in Python. Now they're looking to me and the other people in the C-suite for the vision and the guidance. And I want to be able to have better conversations with them. So when they're saying, hey, Susan, we're frustrated because this isn't working, I need to know what the heck they're talking about. So it's always learning to the next level. So in my own story, I'll share with you how I turned it around to go from homeless, MS, divorced, single mom, all of it. I learned to the next level. And that's when I really embraced personal development. I started reading Think and Grow Rich and Tony Robbins and all this other stuff. And I had a boss and she gave me this book, Who Moves Your Cheese? And I was like, oh, this is so stupid. It's stupid because I wasn't being coachable. She was trying to help me. And her name is Megan. Megan, if you're watching this, I am so sorry. I apologize 20 years later. But I wasn't coachable. I wasn't listening. But I got so humble that I was like, I started reading everything. And fast forward time, I've read hundreds of books on self-development and finances, and I usually am reading 3 or 4 books at a time. Every morning, I'm learning something new on YouTube. Right now, I'm watching a ton of Dave Ramsey's stuff. I just love, his in-your-face kind of style. I watch videos on coding and learning Hebrew and doing all this stuff because you always want to be learning to the next level. And I'm just going to finish with this, and it's so good to see all of you here. Hi, Yvonne and Linda and Ken and Nicole and Marianne. It's so good to see you guys, and thank you for being patient with me today. I always start on time, and unless it's technically something is wrong. I just want to finish with this, that when you're in a place where you need to turn something around, massive action neutralizes negative emotion. That was my post on Instagram today. Massive action neutralizes negative emotion. And if you're in a place where something needs to turn around and you're there and you're feeling anxious and you're feeling scared, and sometimes you can't, take massive action, because that will neutralize all of the negative emotions. So with that, I just want to say, God bless. You guys are amazing. It's all perfect. It always is. If you have a topic for Bulletproof Monday, go to susansly.com. We have a little chat bot there. Just send over the topic. People, an assistant does see it. And if it's relevant, I'll definitely consider it. If this has been helpful today, please do comment. I would love to see your comments. I do engage with your comments. If it's been helpful, please share it. And anyway, with that, thank you all so much for being here wherever you are in the world. You're all amazing. Go for your dreams with confidence and passion. And just remember that these Bulletproof Mondays are designed to help you become bulletproof. Goodbye, everyone.